All right, y'all, we are back with another video, and here we go again. So it seemed like this corrupt judge couldn't do what he wanted to do today, so he couldn't come up with a verdict of what he wanted to do. But, you know, and I was seeing in the news that he was trying to convince the jury to just find some type of charge on Donald Trump. Like they just trying to find a charge. And like Donald Trump just said, if this judge want to save his reputation, he'll be better off dismissing this case because you can't find anything wrong. There's no charges. Donald Trump did nothing wrong. But it seemed like they just trying to put it off. They trying to find some type of way to try to charge Donald Trump with something. And they can't come up with nothing. So we definitely finna go ahead and check this one out. This one is coming by Benny. He said that the jury in Trump trial would not deliver verdict. Holdouts in the jury pool, which is a great sign for Donald Trump. So we definitely finna dive straight into it. Make sure y'all please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody who watches the entire video. I appreciate all of you that does that. And I appreciate everybody that comes straight in and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with everything that's going on. Without further ado, let's go.
What's up, guys? Boy Benny. Remember the horrors of your history books, reading about the Red Scare and the Red Purge in the Soviet Union when Joseph Stalin could just bring anybody he wanted into a courthouse, get them tried and executed, or sent off to a gulag somewhere and never heard from again? Joseph Stalin could do this to his political enemies and adversaries, first and foremost, and how all of the judges and the jury were so rigged in favor of Stalin that he could get any verdict he wanted. Show me the man, I'll show you the crime, is what Stalin used to say. Show me the man, I'll show you the crime. Doesn't matter what crime he committed. I don't even have to name the crimes. We're just going to find him guilty because I don't like him.
Yep.
That's here now in this country. And the jury is deliberating as we speak in the Trump trial in New York. Now, they haven't been able to elucidate for us what crime Donald Trump broke. Nobody's been able to actually compel any testimony from anyone who knew anything about these crimes. They're just saying, if you don't like Orange Man, vote guilty. Seconds ago, the jury rang the courthouse after 3.5 hours of deliberation and passed a note to the judge. The judge came back, called Donald Trump back in to the court. This was what Donald Trump looked like on his way into the court, raising his fist defiantly. Now, this could have been a verdict, potentially, but it wasn't. This was actually a very, very good sign. Now, if it was a verdict, then it could have been a very bad thing for Trump because a quick verdict typically means a guilty verdict. So it could be very, very bad, but it wasn't, in fact. And this was some clarifying notes for the testimony that the jury wanted to see from some of the witnesses that were called in this case. Judge and Trump were just called all back into the courthouse 3 hours into the deliberation. The jury has come back to the judge with multiple questions. This could be a good sign for Trump, suggesting a holdout in the jury pool or multiple holdouts in the jury pool. Ladies and gentlemen, what were the notes? The notes, according to Jonathan Turley, who's at the courthouse right now, 4 requests for different testimony. David Pecker's testimony, Michael Cohen's testimony, all of these things, again, could be very, very good for Donald Trump. Breakdowns of certain testimonies from the prosecution's witnesses. Notably, Joshua Steinglass, he's the prosecutor here, emphasized with the jury that David Pecker met Donald Trump at Trump Tower in 2017. They discussed Karen McDougal. One of the notable elements of the closing was that Steinglass said that Pecker testified that Trump thanked him for his help on the McDougal story. Pecker testified that he told Trump, I'll be your eyes and ears, and so on, if anybody was trying to sell a story about you. As we've said forever, this is just a nuisance lawsuit. Women sell salacious stories all the time about celebrities, and this is how you kill them in a practice called capture and kill. There is no crime here, of course.
No crime at all.
And it would be actually just standard operating procedure. So what does this actually mean? Let's go ahead and Let's go ahead and read here from Jonathan Turley. This is obviously a key issue on Trump's knowledge and direction. Notably, the meeting did not include express statements of how payments would be made or how they would be recorded. This meeting was primarily highlighted to show Trump's knowledge of the work of Pecker and Cohen. It's to be expected that any discussion of Trump's intent or knowledge would include a close review of Trump's Tower meeting. It also shows the importance of David Pecker and his testimony. Pecker offered both sides good testimony. For the prosecutors, he made clear that he was willing to kill stories in relation to the election. Not a crime. That's just called media. I mean, it's called capture and kill. It happens all the time.
Yep.
Remember how they lied about Hunter Biden's laptop, saying it was all the hallmarks of misinformation? However, for the defense, he admitted that he had previously killed stories, not only for Trump, but for other celebrities. Trump Tower meeting was also the government's key argument that none of this was normal, legitimate press function. That's not true. Rashan instructed the jury on the exception for such functions, yet neither side presented evidence on what was normal and legitimate. Clinton campaign was known for killing or planting stories in the same campaign. Yet the jury only heard from Steinglass, prosecutor once again, who stated repeatedly that this was not a normal, legitimate press function. Blanche did address the meeting in his closing and said that it was common for such work from the media to take place. I'm in the media. Let me tell you, this is common. I've been in the media for nearly 20 years. So they're actually going to have this testimony read to the jury in the courtroom. Too bad this did not occur yesterday when De Niro was on set. They are supposed to quit today in less than an hour. So what does this mean? This means that there's absolutely no way that they're going to come back with a verdict today. No way.
They trying to come up with something. That's what they trying to do.
Will this be a hung jury? Yeah, probably.
Probably a hung jury,
So
yeah.
then you're saying this is maybe why Donald Trump is pumping his fist. Here's the reporting of these concerns. And again, a tacitly good sign for Donald Trump.
Then the note. What can you tell us, Paula?
All right. So they received a note from the jury, and it contains 4 different requests. We're getting these live updates. They're coming in real time from our colleagues. One of the requests is, the jury requests David Pecker's testimony regarding the phone conversation with Donald Trump while Pecker was there might be a little typo here, was in a meeting. So this is something that we've signaled they might ask for, is specific portions of testimony from key witnesses, because they do have a laptop that contains a lot of the documents at the heart of this case, but they don't have transcripts from witness testimony. And obviously this case in many ways is heavily reliant on the testimony of witnesses. So we fully expected that they would come back and ask for additional portions of testimony. Here they're asking for a specific portion of testimony from David Pecker. Now, another one of the requests was Pecker's testimony regarding the Trump Tower meeting. Now, there is another request for Cohen's testimony regarding the Trump Tower meeting. So those are 3 of the 4 requests. We're getting these live updates. This is interesting, though, that 2 of these requests relate to the Trump Tower meeting. This is the 2015 Trump Tower meeting that prosecutors argue began this alleged conspiracy to try to suppress negative stories to help Trump win in 2016.
This is common Wait a second. What are you talking about? Bill, I'm taking crazy pills here.
Well, I'll tell you the truth, man.
Every campaign in the history of the world, every leader in the history of Earth, tell it to Earth, has tried to stop bad stories about them from coming out or stop people from learning bad things about them.
Yep.
If they can. How is that a crime? It's not a crime. In fact, you have a free press here, which means...
That's why I was saying, man, it's like at this point, this case should have been dismissed. This case shouldn't even been brought. Just like Donald Trump said, if he wasn't running, Donald Trump, we wouldn't even be having this discussion right now. This wouldn't even be a thing if Donald Trump wasn't running. This judge know that this case, that he should have dismissed this case, and all he's trying to do is trying to like wander along and trying to see, can they just find something to charge Donald Trump with? That is exactly what they're trying to do. They're just trying to find something. They just need something. And you know that Stormy Daniels a liar. Michael Cohen just admitted he's a lie, that he's a complete liar. We know what he done did. So why isn't this case dismissed? Because you got a corrupt judge that's trying to put a bug in the jury ear to get them to convict Trump. That's what he's trying to do. So he trying to plunder along. And we know exactly what he's trying to do. This is just ridiculous, man. This case should have been dismissed today. Should have been dismissed.
That you are allowed to print or not print. You can try and kill and capture stories. A good portion of the founding fathers actually had their own publications, printing presses. Mm-hmm. They were able to push and manipulate stories in the media.
Yep.
In colonial days in America, all the way through to Abraham Lincoln, the Civil War, and jailing reporters. What are you talking about?
And you can see right here on the screen. Jury begins deliberations in New York versus Trump trial as former president blasts charges as rigged. And he's right. They are rigged because they're trying to stop this man. They see when Donald Trump campaigns, look at all the people that comes out and support this man. You're talking about over 100,000 people in a blue state showed up to support this man. Over 25,000 people show him support in the Bronx. And this is what they're trying to stop. They're trying to put some type of jacket on Donald Trump. Trying to make him a felon. So they can have a reason to say, oh, you're going to vote for that president? He's a felon. You're going to vote for him? That's what they're trying to do. These charges is rigged. This whole case is rigged.
What universe are we living in here? Fox News with a slightly more clear-eyed take on this. This is insane, says Andy McCarthy.
The pecker aspect of this that I think underscores some of the unfairness that the Trump defense has tried to highlight for us, and that is they ask about the McDougal NDA and how that broke down. Remember, Trump and Cohen, or at least Cohen says with Trump, they were going to pay that. And then Pecker at the last second said, we're not going to take reimbursement from that. And what he testified was he talked to their general counsel.
Right.
And he suggested that there might be something criminal about that, and therefore they decided not to pay. So Trump is arguing that on the one hand, he wanted to make an advice of counsel defense, and the judge said, no, I'm not going to let that happen. And yet, on this very important aspect of the so-called scheme, the conspiracy to influence the election, they injected the what we infer is the opinion of a lawyer that what they were up to was criminal, which seems to me to be unfair.
So again, the jury has asked, they put out a note. They want to hear some of the testimony from David Pecker and from Michael Cohen regarding a payout or possible buyout of Karen McDougal's story of her alleged affair with President Trump. And also they want to hear about the Trump Tower meeting. Our colleague, Jonathan Turley, says this about that note. He says, notably, Joshua Steinglass, the prosecutor, emphasized with the jury that David Pecker met Donald Trump at Trump Tower in January 2017, and they discussed Karen McDougal. One of the most notable elements of the closing was that Steinglass said that Pecker testified that Trump thanked him for his help on the McDougal story. She's not part of this case. I mean, it's come in as relevant information, but there are no charges related to Karen McDougal in this case or any payout to her.
Yeah, it is one of many baffling evidentiary rulings. It is propensity evidence, which usually is excluded. So this case had both propensity evidence, the fact that he may have engaged in wrongdoing in the past should not be evidence of your current wrongdoing. It's also proximity evidence. Because you're around somebody who pleaded guilty, because you're around somebody who signed a non-prosecution agreement, therefore you must also be guilty. Most judges don't let you do propensity or proximity, and this judge let him do both.
If Bragg were here, I think what he would say is it's absolutely in the indictment. And what he would say is that what we've charged him with is falsification of business records with intent to defraud. And under the statute, the intent has to include the commission or concealment of another crime. He says the other crime is this conspiracy to influence the election. Now, any sensible person looking at the four corners of the indictment would not see the word conspiracy in there, but that's what Bragg would say. He'd say it's absolutely in there, and unfortunately, Merchon agrees that it's in there, even though no one...
So, rigged against President Trump.
Yep. That's why I said it before. They just trying to find some way to take this man down. I'm telling you. And we ain't going to be surprised if they try to convict Trump, because that's what they're trying to do. Now, it'll be good if they dismiss this case, but obviously it's nothing there. What is there? You got liars all in the court that's trying to lie on this man.
Do you live in a free country? A republic, if you can keep it, right? Says Benjamin Franklin. Somebody who also owned a printing press, right? Wrote Poor Richard's Almanac, wrote a pretty popular manuscript, regularly published newsletter. We should arrest Ben Franklin. He's trying to influence an election. He wrote stuff in the press or didn't write it. It's all so stupid. It's all so rigged. It's enough to make your stomach turn. But right now, as we speak, the jury is hearing all of the testimony read back to them live in the court. So the jury is back in the court, reading back live, and there's no way you're going to get. There's no way you're going to get a conviction.
Nope.
I think today, because you don't do this kind of stuff if you have people unanimously decided on a guilty verdict. It doesn't happen. You don't hear the testimony read back. It's a good sign. It's a tacitly good sign for Donald Trump. That there's holdouts. There are holdouts saying, I'm not going to convict an innocent man, and you shouldn't.
You should.
It'll weigh on your soul. And your soul's really all you have in this life.
That's right. Salute to Benny, man, for another great video. Like I said, man, this case needs to be thrown out, dismissed, gone. Now, I did see that Donald Trump did post, if this judge want to save his reputation, he'll dismiss this case, because he know good well Donald Trump did nothing wrong, and I don't like the fact that this judge been talking to the jury as if he trying to convince them to vote against Donald Trump so he can find a way to just lock Donald Trump up. Because I'm telling you, just like Vivek said it best, whether you lock Donald Trump up, his poll number's going to go up. And let's just say it like that, if he's guilty, his poll number's going to go up. If he's found not guilty, his poll number's going to go up. You're going to lose either way it go. But putting him in jail is sure enough going to raise his poll numbers, because they're going to know this man did nothing wrong. And we all know he did nothing wrong. But like I said, y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.